Hello, it's Mike with TradeWinds RV Center, here to congratulate you on your Jayco Jayflight 295 BHS travel trailer. I'm going to walk you around it, show you how to use a few things to get the best out of your camping experience. But let's start by talking about arriving at the campsite and a couple things to take into consideration when you're parking. On your campsite, I want you to leave plenty of room for that awning. On your off campsite, besides leaving room for your slide, I also want you to think about where your power and water connections are going to be. Your power is going to be all the way on the rear of the unit. Plugs in over here, and then your water for campsites is going to be just behind your tires on your off campsite or your driver's side of your tow vehicle. Once you arrive and unhook your hitch, first thing we're going to do is level our unit. The unit comes with a power tongue jack. Night docking light should you arrive at night. Retract to lower. Extend to raise. Now should you lose power, under this rubber stopper right here, your hand crank for your stabilizing jacks will get on that and get that up and down. Speaking of those, once we got our unit level, next thing we can do is stabilize it. 3/4 inch hand crank here. These new ones, they got a little safety chain here. You can actually drop these rather quickly. So give it about 3 cranks to the left or to the right. 1, 2, 3. Now you can get in here, grab that ring, and drop these right to the floor. Now I am going to recommend some stabilizing jack pads. Jack pads will protect the feet of your stabilizing jacks from dirt and debris and keep them from sinking into the hot blacktop in the summer. Get a 4-pack of those with a 10% off coupon and run these down just until they're taut. Remember, our unit's already level, we're just stabilizing it. Get all 4 of those down, get our unit level and stable. Let's hook up our power and water. Your 50 amp power cord will plug in here on the rear. And your convenience pack will be a 50 to 30 amp dog bone. And should you need to plug into a 110, a 30 to 15 amp as well. That will go in and turn to the right to lock in. And then put your black washer on. Got your power hooked up. Let's hook up your water. At campsites, we're going to hook up this city water connection. First and foremost, grab a water pressure regulator. This water pressure regulator is going to reduce the water pressure to 40 to 50 psi, protecting the lines in the unit. You don't know what the water pressure is at different campsites, so always use these. Hook that up, hook up your hose. Don't turn your hose on yet. Let's find your hot water heater. Yours is going to be located over on the campsite. In the rear here, just making sure that your pressure release valve is down, otherwise water will start pouring out of there. You go ahead and turn that hose on. If that hose has been on for a few minutes, go up inside and open up your slide if you need to. I need you to get in there and open up your water lines. Open up your sinks and showers, get a nice steady flow of water going through them, get all the air out of the lines, and then you are all set to camp. Now let's say we're going to go dry camping. Next, your freshwater tank is going to be on your campsite above your tires. No need for a water pressure regulator here. You can simply gravity fill this with a hose. 2 ways to tell it's full. One is the overflow valve right there. Or on the inside where you check the levels of your black and gray tanks, there's also a freshwater button. Keep an eye on that when you're filling it up. Don't leave it unattended. Once it's full, put that cap back on, and then whenever you want to utilize that water, you'll turn on your water pump indoors. Don't turn on your water pump and hook to that city water. That is already pressurized. Alright, we're all set to camp. We got power and water. Let me go ahead and walk you around the rest of the unit. Starting here up front with your propane. It is on a regulator. Keep it in the middle for automatic switchover, or point it toward the tank you should be using. Lefty loosey to open. Coming down your off campsite, pass through storage. Here's your water hose, your hand crank, spray port hose for your shower. Outdoor shower, I'll show you that back there. There's your griddle and quick connect LP. I'll show you where that connects in the back here. Slide's closed right now, but when the slide comes open, there's a seal on each end that flips back and forth. You want those to stay nice and flexible and pliable over the years. They do have a solution that you can spray on them to keep them nice and flexible. Up here's our black tank flush. We'll talk about that when leaving the campsite and dumping our black tanks. Down here, our hot and cold shower again. That's what that spray port hose is for up there. City water connection. Low point drains. Black and gray tanks. We'll talk about those when leaving the campsite. Cable hook up. Your battery, or your spare tire's got a cover. Highly recommend keeping that on there. That's going to keep that from dry rotting over the years. You're prepped for a backup camera. You got a ladder, utilize it. Go up there 2-3 times a year. Check the seams of your roof and caulk as needed with recommended RV roofing caulk. A hot water heater back here. This is your J-port arm. These are 2 separate pieces that will slide in here. Down there's your quick connect LP for that griddle that I showed you up front. A little outdoor kitchen area. Another spot that you can hook up that spray port hose. Your awning. They're recommended for shade. Bring them in heavy rain or high winds. If you got a light rain, you want to just pitch this away, pull down on that, and that will tilt this to the side and help the rainwater run away. On our campsite, we got a couple of outdoor speakers, a flue for our furnace. You can hook up a TV out here. Here's your 110 and cable for that. Then remove this TV real simple. Again, our fresh water. Flue for your furnace. A few things on that. One, make sure it's never blocked. If you are running your furnace, steer clear of that. It does get hot. And they do sell bug guards for those. If you want to keep the critters out of there. Low point drain. Usually by my fresh water is going to be my freshwater drain. That's going to be your freshwater drain right there. I'll continue down the campsite just to our big pass-through storage with your hitch work in it. About covers everything out here. Let's go take a look on the inside. Jake, coming up in the unit, first thing I always like to point out is your fire extinguisher. Make sure that you and everyone that's camping with you knows the fire extinguisher is located by the entry doorway in case of an emergency. Come around this corner is going to be our lighting. It's going to be our interior and our awning light. Next to that is going to be our control panel showing your brand new battery, fresh water, black and gray tanks. Let me dump the rest of that fresh out. Over here is where you turn on your water pump to get to that fresh water. Here's your awning control. On your awning, you only want to run that out until you can see that bar and that flap has fallen down to 90 degrees there. If I were to hold that extend down, that bar will continue rolling out, flip up onto itself, and start to roll itself up backwards. So keep an eye on it when you're running out. Don't run it out further than you need to. As I bring this in, I'm going to shut off my awning lights. As it closes up, I'm going to reach out and close this door and tell you that these doors work best when gently slammed. Alright, so we also got a slide control. Let's go ahead and run that slide out real quick. Turn this light in here. And as it gets all the way out, I want you to hear that little noise. That's just the slide mechanism saying I'm all the way out. Let go of the button. Alright, 110 and charging ports here. Down here is going to be your 12-volt carbon monoxide and propane detector. That's always running off your battery. Keep that in mind. Plumbing. Keep an eye on your plumbing. If you travel a lot in this, you're bouncing this up and down the road a lot, get up underneath here. Those are square head screws. 2 of them. Remove them. Get in there and look at your plumbing. Make sure nothing's wiggled loose over time. Self-explanatory microwave. Down here a light and fan. Above your cooktop. These glass tops make an excellent backsplash. Just flip that up. Turn on your panel light, turn that to flame, hit your spark. Now sometimes you may have to bleed these lines out a little bit. This one I just turned on. There you go. Now they're all lighting up. Just turn that gas on before stepping in here. Same thing on your oven. You'll turn that to your flame. Hit your spark down here. That will light your pilot light. Usually you can see the reflection of the light right here on your metal. But then just turn on your panel light down there and make sure it's lit. Once that's lit, turn it to your desired temperature. Fridge controls are on the bottom, I believe, here. Oh yeah, they're there. Didn't mention below your oven is your breaker box and fuses. You got a ton of 15s and a couple of 25s. Highly recommend having some of those with you when you go. Heat duct return. Our bunks do have lighting, which is easier for a tall guy. But what's my lighting down here? Under this bunk, you do have a storage area. In our bathroom real quick, put a couple gallons of water in there when you arrive. Give it a few flushes. Your black tank will thank you later. You don't want waste going into an empty tank. You want it to go into water. Another thing to keep, even if you're set at a full hookup, keep your black tank closed until you're at least 3/4 full. That's going to give it more pressure to allow to dump when you dump it. And here's where you turn on your hot water heater. A hand crank open power exhaust vent, 110 with GFCI reset, and a little more plumbing to keep an eye on under your sink. Now we're going to come to our thermostat. 3 settings on this. We've got a fan, we've got cool and heat. So I'm going to start with the cool, turn the AC up. Let you hear that running. There is a quick dump on these as well. Now you'll notice when I go to off, generally ACs will shut off kind of quickly. There it goes. Whereas heat, when I turn on your furnace, you hear kick on at that return there. Now you will notice that when I shut this off, it's going to take a couple of minutes for that fan to cycle through before it shuts off. It does on all units. Alright, coming into our dining room. All of our lighting is up here and tucked under here. Your tabletop will lift up. Remove those legs. Put your tabletop down here on these all the way around. Put your flat cushions on top. Gives you another sleeping area. Same thing over here. You can use this with cup holders, or we can jackknife this down, storage chair, into another bed. Lastly, in the living room, you're set up for a TV here. If you hook up a television down here, when you plug in your cable, make sure that you have this green light on. That's going to be your antenna. Which brings me over to your sound system. AM, FM, Bluetooth. Let's see if I can pick something up in here.
982.
There we go.
Drivers who are
so
covered
AM,
will not have to
FM,
pay for
interior, and exterior speakers. I don't know if you can hear them, but they're loud out there.
Today, we'll also receive free roadside assistance.
So a nice sound system. AM, FM, Bluetooth, auxiliary. Maybe back to your bedroom. All my lighting here is what is lit up from all individual lighting in here. Underneath your bunk is some storage area, your bed, excuse me. One more thing for in this room here, you are prepped for a television. There's your backer, cable and 110. This is a template for solar. Behind this is where it's wired for solar. If you ever get a solar panel, leave that on there so the techs know where that's at. Lastly, in the bedroom, you want to make sure that this is snapped open for travel. You don't want this door bouncing around. Alright, so let's get ready to leave the campsite and close the unit up. I like to start in the rear and shut off all my lighting. Pin that closed. Make sure television is tucked away under my main control panel and shut off my interior lights. Now I can see that any other lights I walk through and shut off are individual lights that I have to shut off by hand anyway. Go into my bathroom, make sure my vent is closed. Once you shut off all of your accent lighting, come to your control panel, turn on your interior lights again, and say doors and drawers. Walk through the unit, make sure all doors and drawers are closed. Nothing's going to impede our slides from coming in. Just going to hit in. You can hear that same noise. Shut off my interior lights and exit the unit. Now the biggest thing, and most importantly on these steps, bringing them up or down, you want to make sure this exterior door is all the way open, otherwise this will catch on it coming in. Feet are also adjustable. Pull on the cotter pin, move the leg to where you need it. Set this up inside. Lock that. That's going to keep this from banging against your door over here. Now before you leave the dump station, when you hit the road after the dump station, you're going to lock, deadbolt, lift and turn that handle. That's how you want that for traveling. Alright, if we are dry camping, we're going to get up underneath our freshwater here and open up this freshwater tank. Bring up our stabilizing jacks, which come back up just as quickly as they go down. Can do 1 or 2 cranks to the left, allow you to loosen this, lift that right back up here. A couple more to the left, and then lock your little safety chain on here. If we are at a campsite, we'll unhook our power, our water, our cable, bring up our stabilizing jacks, hook up our hitch, and head on up to the dump station. At the dump station, park accordingly. You got 10-foot hose comes with your convenience pack. Your hose is your dump is going to be behind your tires on your driver's side. Park, hook your end up, hook the other end in your dump, and pull the black holding tank. It's the one on the right there. When it sounds like that's no longer draining, get up inside, check the level of your black tank. If it shows empty or close to it, come back out here. Leave that black handle open. Grab the hose at the dump station and turn on this tank flush. Turn that on, let that run for a good 5 minutes. Again, emphasizing with that black handle open, and that's going to wash all that nastiness out of your black tank. When that's done, close that up. Make sure all that washout water you just put in there has drained, and then close your black holding tank and pour your gray water. Now usually when my grays are draining, I'll get up underneath there, dump my low point drains. When your gray is done, close that gray and conveniently and sanitarily store your sewage hose right here in your bumper, so easier when hands not wet, and head on home. Again, thank you guys so much for your purchase. Hope you enjoy this Jayflight for many years to come. Happy camping.